Give a tart's furry cup if half your brains are falling out. Don't ever waltz into my kingdom, acting king of the jungle. Who the hell are you? Gene Hunt, your DCI, and it's 1973. Almost dinner time. I'm having oops.
Hello everybody in YouTube land, and hi Pete Crompton. You asked if I could do a video as opposed to a slideshow, so here we go. As you can see, we're back at the workshop with the beautiful green Mark III Ford Cortina. Gary's been on holiday for about a month now, I think, having a much needed break from work and various other things. We're back today. So we're in the workshop and Gary's been busy already. Last time I saw this, we had a big hole here because the floor pan was cut out. As you can see, the new floor pan on the driver's side is now in. It's just been welded in, so obviously little bits to clean up on the welds, etc. But it fits really, really well all the way along. So it goes from the rear right the way down to the front, one side. You see these the Express Steel Panel Limited floor pans. Really nice detailing, and the pressing detail on it is really, really good. Where it comes up here and it meets the rear arch, obviously we've chopped that bit away, so there's a gap there. It's got this nice rounded bit on there, which it should have on the original full panel. It's got the crease marks in there. We've got the nice little dimples that are in it that should be there where the chassis goes. We've got the round bits where they would be cut out for the bungs, so they include those. Again, on this you've got the oval cutout. Again, nice pressing detail for where the floor bungs will go. You know, all the pressings where they should be are really, really well done on these Express Steel panels. Everything fits really, really good. All the shaping's really good. Very, very impressed with it. It's very good quality. So if you need new floor pans for your car, not the cheapest things to buy, but it's a big piece of metal. It does come galvanised. The floor pressings are perfect. Definitely would recommend them. 100% would buy more of them again if I need them for my other Mark III. So they're really, really good. Obviously that side was done a while back before we went off on holiday. So we've got the floor pan, the inner sill and the outer sill on that side. On this side, the new inner sill is in place. It's not actually welded on yet. It's obviously just there fitted to make sure that it fits where it should. We've got the markings. I'll probably just about check on this. It's a bit dark this side, but there's a line there to kind of give us where the markings go. There's a slot in this, so it goes in up to the height the original ones were in. So obviously all the framework has made sure that everything lines up perfectly. Everything's spot on. There's no problems with it not lining up. Everything's going together exactly as it should do. As you can see, this is a genuine, original Ford inner sill, which, believe it or not, I bought 35 years ago, and I've had in storage, nice dry storage in the attic, and had it in my bedroom for a while when I first got it, in their packaging. So, as far as I remember, when I got these, Ford said they were the last two original Mark III ones they had in stock at the time. And that was 35 years back, so I've had these all that time, waiting, thinking one day the car will need restoring, and one day I will want them, and obviously now they're being fitted. Again, wheel tubs, obviously holes, bits missing, as you notice, big bit missing to be fair. You know, inside, like, oops, a hole, and oops, another hole, and yeah, more rust and kind of holes. So yeah, all of this lot basically is coming out. I've got brand spanking new genuine Ford original wheel tubs, one-piece housing as opposed to the kind of like two-piece ones which you can get if you want to pay for them. Again, Express Steel will do you a inner wheel housing and an outer wheel housing. Robin Walsh in Ireland has got some. Again, I'll mention Robin because obviously he's been helpful and he's been great, and he's got loads of bits. So, you know, there are people out there that can help you if you need to restore one of these. Some things are difficult to get. Original inner sills like this are like hen's teeth. I haven't seen any for years. I just, you know, I had the foresight to think one day I want this car. When I was a kid, when I saw it, when I fell in love with it, when I helped parents pay for it, I just thought one day I want to own her, and one day she'll need restoring. And so that's why, basically, even as a kid, we'd go with my dad to Ford dealerships, and we'd go in there to get a service done, and I'd see a part on a shelf, or I don't have pocket money. And then when I was a kid and I was acting, because I was in things like Grange Hill years ago, I'd get money from the BBC, and I'd go, can we go to Ford's? And I'd buy bits. And Dad was always like, why the hell do you keep buying Cortina parts? Because I want it one day, Daddy, and I'll need it. Parents were really great, to be fair. It was kind of like, oh my God, more stuff he's bringing home. My mum was going. But, you know, I got a lot of stuff years ago. And then over the years, once I passed my test and I was driving it, I just added and added and added to collection. I'd go, right, one day I might need one of these. One day I might need one of those. You know, over the years, different parts people, John Blythe at Golden Days, different people, Dave at Old Parts Store, very helpful over the years as well with bits. So a lot of people out there that have contributed to Ford Motor Company. Obviously, I'd go there and I'd buy bits from them back in the day when you could buy bits off the shelf from Ford, and you go in and go, I want a wing, and they'd go 25 quid, brand new genuine Ford wing from a Ford main dealer. You know, all these bits I acquired. So basically we had everything, more or less. A few little bits that I thought, won't ever need one of them. Dave Baglow at Classic Ford Parts. You've seen him on Swampy videos. Absolutely amazing guy, really, really friendly, you know, just great, really, really decent chap, really nice. Did an epic journey up to see him, quite a few hours driving from where I am, got there, really friendly greeting, very, very pleasant, made you feel instantly at home, very welcome, cup of tea, couldn't fault the guy, really, really nice, really genuinely liked him. Obviously had a car in there that they were breaking up. Pete's got the back end of it on his wall in the workshop for Ruby at the moment, that brown one. As you can see, these, if we have a look down here, they're not in great condition. This bit's gone, like the end bit's just kind of rotted away. Get the camera in at an angle so you can see it. It's a bit dark, but like, look, there's nothing there. Again, you kind of come along, and where the floor-pan lip should be, it's kind of, no, that's rotted out, and it's all a bit dodgy, and you see it's all been chopped away there because it's just rotted out. That side fared a lot better, to be fair. Yeah, the problem was water was getting in this side and laying in the footwells, and then obviously kind of like rotting all this lip away and inside here. Front ones, yet again, come up here, you can see on that cross member there, yeah, we've got a hole. And a lot of corrosion on it, and yeah, it's fixable, it's savable, but you know, when you think, well, that's been chopped out because it's rusted, and there's a hole there, and you know, there's a hole over here on this bit that's kind of not quite there. Inside, it's not brilliant. When the floor was dropped out, you could see it was pitted in, eaten in, rusty. So I thought, like the new ones, didn't have new ones. One thing I didn't buy because I thought, won't ever rot, didn't plan for these to ever get filled up with water and to do this. So thought need better ones. Well, Dave thankfully had that tawny brown metallic, and it was really good. I mean, these were absolutely perfect, apart from a little tag on the end and a minor little fix on the edge of one of these, down on the corner again where that triangular plate goes. Just underneath on one part, it just rotted a tiny bit. So, they're 99.9% there. So they've been acid dipped. Come up beautiful. There's a little fix to do on a tag and on that edge corner piece. But that's less work than on these. Now, yes, these are originals, but like I say, they're scruffy and they're rusty and they're not great. I'll probably keep them. I don't think I'll throw them. You know, at one point we'll probably get them repaired and fixed and keep them as a possible use at some point. So not easy things to get hold of brand new. So, you know, these will be taken out now the floor's in. We kind of kept them there just as an extra reference point. Obviously all the bracing, everything's done. It's all fixed physically to the actual professional body jig that this is on. So far nothing's moved. Everything's been measured and remeasured and rechecked meticulously. Everything's stayed millimetre perfect so far. We've not been out anywhere. We've not had like, oh, that doesn't fit and that's out of line. from front to where we are now, everything's spot on. Obviously, if it had twisted warps or anything, by now you'd expect there to be slight notices, like, oops, that's dropped a millimetre, 2 millimetres, whatever. Everything's absolutely perfect. Obviously, the plan is to have it completely brand new looking, zero rust on it anywhere. Any panels that have rust come off. Basically, acid dip them. If they've got any problems, I've got the brand new one, fine, we just replace it with a brand new one. A lot of the car's going to be new panel work. The front end's completely brand new. Everything on the front end is new panels. The floor pans are brand new. The inner and outer sills are brand new. I suppose, when you work out all of the panels that work to go together to make a Mark III shell, 2/3 of the shell is going to be replaced. We've probably got like 1/3 of the original shell. Then, of course, we've got all of the running gear. Now, the running gear's original. Everything's still intact. Everything's still good. Bit rusty. Needs cleaning down. Needs refurbishing, repainting, etc. So all of the mechanicals, gearbox, the original engine that came with the car, the axle, all of the running gear bits underneath, that's all going to be original car and refurbed. 99.9% of the interior, if not all of the interior, is going to be kept an original. But basically, yeah, the plan is to get it exactly as it rolled off production line, just like it was when we bought it, brand spanking new looking, original everywhere we can get it original, and where it should be original, and not really kind of customise, mod it, change it, alter anything. The cars were built brand new. They were sold to people as a brand new car to be driven on the road and used as they were made. You didn't need to modify it. You don't need to lower the suspension. You don't need to put wider wheels on it. You don't need to upgrade electrics on the Mark III. Everything works as it was built. Doesn't matter which model in the range it was, they're all designed to do the job that they were built to do, and they do that faultlessly. It's a seriously comfortable car to drive when it's like perfect and brand new. If shocks are worn, springs are worn, you'll get a bumpy ride, you'll be a bit sort of lively on crossover on white lines and things, but set up properly, you don't have these issues. I remember it being brand new. I've ridden in it, I should say, and obviously driven in it ever since I passed my test, and that's a long time ago. I use this car every single day through every kind of weather condition that nature threw at it, and it was brilliant. In 41 years, this car broke down twice. Once about 10 o'clock at night, at set traffic lights, when the alternator packed up. And we called the AA, and they came out and went, "Oh, alternator's given up, you need a new one." And the second time, well, nobody knew what that was. Mum and I got in it, we drove down the road, it was fine. I pull up at a roundabout, I go to pull away, the car stalls, stops, will refuse to start. Every effort I made under the bonnet did no good. I phoned the AA, they come, they connect it up with everything they've got, they look at everything. The guy scratches his head and goes, "I don't know, it won't start, and I have no idea why." So it's like, okay, that's different. So he said, "I'll get relay for you." And they get the relay, and we put it on the lorry. And it comes off the lorry back at home, and it gets put in the garage, and the guy gets off the relay truck and he goes, "Try it, I'll have a look." And he looks at everything, and he tries starting it, and refuses to start, and he goes, "I really don't know. Who does your garage work?" I said, "Ford." It was Elmsley of, what was it now? It's called Elmsley of Enfield, Ford main dealer. So we phone them, and it's booked in. And the next morning, Dad says, you better give them a ring and tell them we're ready for them to come and collect it. They need the sort of pickup thing, the low loader. So I says, "I'm going to try her." "Well, she won't start." "Yeah, I couldn't get it going, you're not going to get it going." I said, "I'm just going to try." So I got in, I put the key in, I turned it, vroom, straight away, off she went. To this day, nobody knew why she did what she did. She just didn't want to go somewhere, I suppose, that day. It was just, "No, I don't want to go there, I'm staying home." So, I don't know. So 2 times in 41 years, it shows the reliability of a Mark III Ford Cortina, providing you take care of it. People out there go, "Rust buckets, they all rotted away." Well, yes, this one is a good example of the fact that a Mark III Cortina will rust everywhere if you neglect it, and that's what I did for 12 years. But up to that point, from 1974 when she was built until the year 2000, this car looked perfect. It was solid, it was mint, there wasn't rust holes everywhere, because it was loved and looked after. It was covered in Finnegan's wax all through its box sections and things. It was mollycoddled and washed and polished every couple of days. You know, if you take care of it, if you underseal it, it lasts. If you put it on damp ground in horrendous conditions and just leave it for years, nature gets in and rapidly takes over. Even Rolls-Royces rust. Obviously, Swampy will be a testament to how long a good quality, looked after Mark III will last. This car will be the same. And obviously when Mike's done his, I can't wait to see that 2000D. It will be incredible. Cars like that will show that the Mark III, if you prep it properly and if you look after it, will last you forever. It's not the cars that are bad, it was the owners. You know, one guy come up to me at a show. Bloody hell, you must have to respray this every year, mine rusted away. When I asked him what he did to it, well, he did nothing to it. He didn't wash it, he didn't polish it, and he certainly never ventured underneath. You can see the next jobs we're going to be moving on to is the boot floor. Quite surprised with the boot floor when I went down there. Last time I was there I had not much left of it, big holes, rear valance, inner and outer, there wasn't much left of that either. Obviously we've got the new inner rear valance and the new inner outer rather rear valance together just there, pre-painted. This is the near side chassis rail under the boot floor, or at least what's left of the near side chassis rail under the boot floor. Quite a lot of holes in it, to be fair. There's kind of more rust and missing bits than there is kind of chassis rail. Obviously as we kind of pan along you can kind of see the state of it. It's holes and grotty and just disintegrating everywhere. Then it meets the brand new chassis rail where we've got the petrol strap hanger, and then we kind of work our way down. Obviously we've got the bit where the bump stop and the spring goes, and then moves in wood for where the shock absorber part goes on it. And obviously the jacking fork. Now it's a genuine full panel, but it didn't come with the bit that goes under the boot floor, which obviously at the time didn't think it was a problem because yeah, I've got plenty of them. And when I checked through stock, it actually wasn't genuine full ones that I've got various different pattern ones, Vang and a couple of other mates. So I thought, not ideal. So decided to spend another £300 courtesy of Robin Walsh in Northern Ireland. So thanks again, Robin, including postage, and got a brand spanking new, never fitted, very slight surface corrosion on it, complete chassis rail for under the boot floor with this bit that's brand new that you've just seen on there. So I'm currently prepping that, and then that'll go in place, and I'll have a brand new complete one on this side to match the brand new complete one that's on the other side. Over the years I bought loads of panels and you kind of forget quite what you have, and I'm thinking, yeah, I got 3 of those legs, that's fine. But as it happened, it wasn't the original, so I wasn't overly keen on fitting it. Gary wasn't overly keen on fitting it, so I kind of thought, yeah, spend the money, get the right bit. As you can see, look, there's a hole. I kind of went down there and went, ooh, boot floor's gone. Most of it actually disintegrated into rust on the floor. It was kind of lots and lots of dust and occasional little bits. It was way worse than it actually looked when you saw it in situ. It just crumbled away to nothing. There's a couple of tiny sort of little bits, about, what, maybe a foot in diameter that's left of it. It's kind of in the body shop, and that's about it. That panel over on that side, that had been replaced many years ago with one of those boot floor repair sections. So that's still quite solid, to be fair. Prepped that quite well before it was given to the place to weld it in at the time. So yeah, that lasted a lot better. But you see, all the rest of it's kind of gone. So coming up soon, you're going to see the boot floor in place and just trial fitted. So that'll be there. But these bits I was quite impressed with. You know, they kind of came up quite well. Yeah, big hole. So next bit is doing that. Here is the chassis rail that I got from Robin Walsh, 71 BB part number. Obviously it's somewhere between 41 and 47 years old, depending whether it was made at the beginning of manufacture or the Mark III range or one of the last panels that they made. Average condition really for one of these. It's got its original primer coat on it, but obviously it's going to have some corrosion issues on it unless it was stored in completely dry conditions over the years, and very, very rare to find panels that are absolutely mint with no sort of surface rust on them anywhere.
This side's not too bad. It's got a few little sort of patches here and there, obviously speckles all over it where there's the corrosion on it. Turn it over and the other side's got a little bit more because it got slightly damper that side. The plus side is it wasn't pitted. It's in the same condition the bulkhead was in, to be fair, I got from Robin. And if not, actually, to be fair, I think the bulkhead was slightly worse. There was sort of slightly heavier thickness of rust on that one. And obviously once that was mechanically stripped and hand stripped and then went into acid for sort of 24 hours and pulled out and got rinsed, and I dunked it in for another 24 hours just to make doubly sure. Bulkhead came out beautiful. This one obviously will go through the same process. I'll strip as much of it as I can by hand because it just helps it sort of speed up the process. If the acid's got to eat away all of the paint and then get to the rust, it's easier to get rid of as much of it as you can before you put it in. If you're at time factory and you want to wait, it will obviously dissolve everything and it'll leave you with clean shiny steel. You can see on this side it's a bit more pitted. Well, not like pitted as such, it's kind of crusty rust. So I'm pretty convinced that when that's all took off it'll be nice and smooth because the bulkhead was worse and that came off nice and smooth. But everywhere in this it's just going to be completely shiny steel. The way to make sure that you're not going to have the issues come through is to do that. This end I dipped in for 12 hours in acid. And over the 12-hour period it took the primer off, it's got rid of the surface rust that was on it. And you can see it's nice and clean. That's only after 12 hours. So you leave it in 24 hours and it's really clean. So that's what this will have done to it. Not one for going, oh, well, it's got a little bit of rust on it, but I'll cover it in wax oil and that'll be fine. It'll slow down the rust process from starting. It might, with a bit of luck, stop it. But for me, it's always been get rid of the rust. If you leave the rust there, it's got the option to kind of eventually grow and get bigger and eat in, and then you can end up with a hole. And restoring cars isn't cheap. Certainly nowadays buying the full panels isn't cheap. Long gone are the days where you popped into your local Ford dealership and spent 25 quid and you got a brand new genuine Ford wing. They're around 500 quid a piece now. So, you don't really want to be going, yeah, I'll put a £300 chassis rail in and I've got a hole in it in a few years' time. So I want it mint. If it's not good enough, I don't put it on. So I'm spending the time, I'm getting everything stripped back to shiny, gleamy steel. Then it goes through my extremely long, drawn-out paint process of getting my 38 layers of paint on it, which everybody kind of goes, what, 38 layers? Trust me, it works. Done it over the years on a few vehicles, and everything I've ever painted and has been fitted onto a vehicle, it's never, ever, ever rusted through. And I've had a lot of years go by since I've done stuff on people's cars in the past, and they've gone like, it's just no rust on it. Yeah, I'm good at what I do. So obviously this will get done. The time factory is, I would like it done, I want it on the car, I want to get the car done, finished. That's natural. But at the end of the day, it takes as long as it takes. I haven't set my time scale for this. It's just going to be, I'm going to get it done. And if it takes 5 years to build it, it takes 5 years to build it. If it takes 10 years to build it, it takes 10 years to build it. Hopefully it won't be that long. But, I'd rather kind of take the time to get it right and make sure it's perfect, make sure I'm 100% happy with it, and then put it on and know it's going to last forever, rather than kind of go, yeah, that will do, because, that's not a really good way of building your car. So at the moment it's like this. It'll go in the bath, it'll come out, it'll get its paint stuff, then it'll go down to the workshop and then we'll put it in place. Then the boot floor will be going in, which is a really, really exciting bit, because that means then I've got a solid back end. So I've got a brand new front end on it, the entire front end, bulkhead, A-posts, chassis rails, front to rear. They're completely brand new all the way through the car on both sides. The floor pans are solid. Then it'll be kind of working our way into the wheel tubs and the rear wings and the inner rear quarters, inner and outer load balances, replacing those. Obviously there's bits on the roof to repair. There's still quite a lot of work to go on it. But once that boot floor's dropped in, it's going to make a big improvement. It was amazing seeing the front end go on. Once that was done, it was like, wow. Then obviously the floor pans went in. They come front to back, one long section each side. So once you drop them in, massive amount of cars repaired in a very quick period of time, and you suddenly go like, whoa, I've got completely interior floor pan is like solid. This is really good. So yeah, we're getting there with it. been a while since I put a video up, purely because Gary went off on holiday. I had a glitch with this panel, thinking, yeah, I want to replace it with a 4.1. I had to get that, obviously work on it. A few other bits and pieces been refurbing, because we kind of thought, oh, I've got plenty of time to do this, and then realised the car's actually moving along a lot faster than I thought it would. Gary did say, once I start putting it together, it'll soon happen. He's kind of got slightly ahead of me on a couple of things. So yeah, that's basically why I haven't put a video up. I've been busy doing stuff, and working my arse off, basically trying to pay for this. So so yeah, these are the chassis rails that go across, or cross members, proper word for them. They go across the inside of the floor pans. Obviously that's the one that goes where the front seats are, underneath the front seats. And that's the one that goes underneath the rear seat, just the forward part of it in the rear footwells. Obviously been in acid, both of them, cleaned down, really shiny. Zipping over them with a 80 grit, I think it was, if I remember rightly. Looks like rust there, but it isn't. It's just I kind of slightly burnt the metal, or kind of got a weird colouring come off of the disc, so obviously not finished here. Still got to do some more polishing on it, cleaning it up with another derusting and cleaning wheel that kind of gets it really nice and gives it an even sort of finish everywhere. It looks sort of like uneven at the moment, but it's just because of the way the light's reflecting off of where I've done it with the flap wheel. Kind of put in the acid, come out of that, neutralise it, wash it down, just to make sure I haven't got any residual acid on there that might affect paint colour or anything. I always then go over the metal again with one of those finishing wheels. You get this nice kind of shine and smooth, even finish. This is a process it's currently going through, so there's a bit more cleaning, polishing, buffing, whatever to do on it. And then obviously it'll get hit with the etch primer like the other one is. As you can see, no rust, really shiny. That's the quality that I aim for always. Put a panel on, got a bit of rust in it, it's going to grow, it's going to come back, it has the potential to do that. Make sure that it's really clean, the acid dissolves even the smallest bits of rust that you can't physically see. It's my trusty JCB angle grinder and one of my 80 grit flat wheels, which speeds up shifting rust them really well. So this is the standard it works to. So I want it done, and it's kind of sometimes you just think, it's got some paint on, just take it down and weld it on. Not a good idea. Yeah, I want it to last. So here it's had its 2 coats of etch, which is a U-POL acid etch. Change the tins, I've noticed of late, used to say professional use only, doesn't on this one anymore. Grey, takes 10 to 20 minutes to dry. So it's professional stuff. It's really quick at drying, so it's great. You don't have to wait kind of like hours and hours and think, I can't recode it yet. I like this one. About, I think it's 16.99 or 16 quid from Halfords. They stock it. Probably get it in various other most factors wherever you are. Good product, works well. Obviously the acid etches into the metal, so it kind of like makes the primer bond on better. In theory, if you did have any kind of very mild flash rust, I presume the acid would kind of dissolve that into the paint. Don't like that idea. I'd rather have it devoid of rust, which is why I do what I do. Once that's dry, then you get zinc coats on it, and then I get red oxide coats on it, and then I get different zinc coats on it. There's basically 3 different companies of zinc that I use. The red oxides go on, and then obviously the primer coats go on. If it's an internal panel, it gets things like panel chip on it, which is waterproof. It helps seal the dampness out if it ever did get through the above layers. Hidden areas, you can do things like that. You can put panel chip in. It's flexible, it's durable, it doesn't peel, crack, flake off. It's a really good quality one that's been out for years. It's a trusted brand, so I like that. It's super smooth, which also helps, even though you're never going to see inside the panel. That's the sort of quality and standard I want to do. I want to get sure that it's looking really good, even though you're never going to see inside it, which might sound silly, but I just want it that good. So basically inside that, obviously once they're welded to the floor pan, you can't get inside it to paint it. I could fit it with just a full primer on it, or if it was a new panel it comes with primer on, but then it's just got a primer coat. That's not much protection. So inside this, it'll get its 38 layers. It'll be painted to Medina green. It'll be lacquered. It will gleam and be amazing. And then it'll get obviously fitted to the car. We've got the primer on it, but it is weld through zinc primer that will go along the edges before obviously it's welded, so it just kind of melts where the spots go in. And then obviously once they're cleaned up, you instantly hit it with more primer and they're covered, and it protects it, so it stops you having any corrosion issues in the future, hopefully, while you're building the car. That weird thing that's in the middle, that's actually out of a 30-year-old fire engine. That's the kind of tow hitch bolt thingy. It's another thing that I'm working on at the moment. I've got a client that's got a 30-year-old fire engine, so I'm doing some work on that, and I thought, I'll bring that home, I'll clean it up, I'll acid etch it, and then I'll get it sprayed and painted, and it'll look nice when it goes back on the bumper. So that's obviously not a Mark III part, because somebody's going, what the hell is that from? That's that thing there. So yeah, so that's these getting done. When they're ready, they'll go down and be welded in, and then they'll look awesome. So I'll sort of obviously show you that bit when it's done. What are we on today? I think we're on the 15th of July. And so, all being well, down the workshop Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And going to be doing some work on another classic that's down there. Possibly a bit on the Cortina, hopefully during that time, maybe. And might be doing a bit on one of my other classics that's down there. I've done a little bit, I have. Gary's done a little bit of welding on one of my other classics. So I'll just kind of bung a brief clip of that on the end of this, to be fair, and then you can just sort of see what I drive around in as my daily car at the moment, whilst the Cortina is being worked on. So obviously this one's not the most thrilling of my slideshows or videos or whatever, because there's not like a lot of work been going on this one. Just wanted to put something on so that you knew that yes, the car's still being worked on. You know, we haven't kind of like given up. Had it way too long. I've owned it 41 years and we're going to give up on it now. So all being well, we'll be putting more footage up soon. Thanks Pete for making me do a commentary on this. I haven't done anything like this for a long time, and I really much prefer just doing my slideshows, because I'm just good at them. Take pictures, put them on, shove some music on. It's easy, it's simple, it's great. Deciding to talk about stuff, I think, oh god, what do I say? Not been doing acting things for many years. Been a long time since I've been doing this stuff. You know, a bit rusty on it, but anyway. So yeah, that's just me explaining about kind of like, you know, obviously when you weld it, clean around the little holes where you've been drilled out, and obviously make sure it's clean. You've got the weld through primer go on, you weld it in, and it makes it all nice, which I've kind of preempted a bit, but there you go. Right, so good luck with your restorations out there, if anybody's doing any. Sorry that this one's just like probably my worst video I put on. I hate this, to be fair. I don't like this one, but you know, it gives you a bit of in the history of it. So, as I say, hopefully I haven't bored you to death with this particular video. It's not the most exciting one I've put on, but obviously, you know, some work's going on, and next video hopefully will be a lot better. As you can see here, part number for a brand new bit that I picked up off of eBay. Bought this off of a very nice guy called Brian. Who was down in Derbyshire, so another epic journey off to go and collect it, because it was kind of like collection in person. So I thought, oh well, never been to Derbyshire, so I got the sat nav out and found the place eventually. It was on eBay, 150 quid, and I thought, oh yes, great, perfect, bootleg, little bit of rust on it, obviously, you know, brand new, genuine full panel, never fitted. Excuse me, been in stock for ages. It's gonna have some surface rust on it, which it has. Inside's a little bit worse, but it's certainly not any worse than the bulkhead was, and after that had been kind of worked over with the JCB and the flat wheels and derusting wheels and hand sanded, and then went through all the acid. It came out beautiful, and I don't expect this to be any different. Yeah, that was a loo on the right hand side. I'm in the bathroom with this one. That's the plus side of being on your own. You can actually kind of just go, I'll put a bathroom into a kind of acid dipping process store. So basically everything gets kind of stripped down, goes in the bath, loads of acid, strips everything, couldn't do that if you had a female in the house. I think she'd absolutely flip if she came home and found that you'd been busy turning the bathroom into an acid dipping centre, or that the kitchen was suddenly covered in tons and tons of rust and dust from primer paints and things where you've been grinding all day. Could go down the workshop and do it. Just find it much more fun doing it at home. Cleaning up can be interesting, but what the hell? The joys of being single. So it's nice and warm indoors. It's ideal for working on the panels. So yeah, this is one that's going to be kind of stripped back, and it'll all be nice and shiny and creamy, and then painted up and ready to go up. Right, this is the bonus footage. This is a 1992 Ford Fiesta LA 2-door. Now, you might have thought LA. 1992 Ford brought out the Fiesta L, but badged it as an LA, and it was a standalone automatic version. So basically 1992, if you wanted an L, it became automatic, and that's all you could buy from according to the catalogue. The nice one about this is it's exactly the same car that was in the catalogue. Belly up blue, 2-door, Spa Raven interior. But this one a few years now. It's a car that I kind of drive around in, but as you can see, it is kept really, really nice. It's not been fully restored. It's only had a partial restoration a year into when I got it. About, I don't know, I had it probably about 10 years now. But it's a very, very, very tidy one in the condition it's in at the moment. Once Cortina's done, this one's going to get similar sort of process. We'll intend stripping it right out to the shell and making sure everything's perfect. As you can see by the flashing under there, it's really clean underneath. You don't often get road cars that are kind of that clean underneath them. Not mint, not spotless by any means. Has work that needs doing to it. We've got the powder coated petrol tank that's been in about 8 years, I think now. Still nice and shiny. So all the underneath is clean, but for its MOT, we went round it, found a little hole underneath, just started to come through, just side of the bottom edge of the front wing on the floor. So Gary's busy welding that up at the moment. So you can see no road dirt. It's really clean. I look after my vehicles, so sort of show you a quick look at this. At some point, I say hopefully, all being well, this will have a full restoration. There'll be a video series on that. So if any of you are interested in rare Mark III Ford Fiestas, I'll be doing this one. I say, love it to bits. Really, really, really reliable little car. They're really good. And there's the credits. So producers would like to thank the Kyoto Connection for giving their permission for me to use their truly beautiful music in my slideshows and videos. I think they're a great group. They've got some really nice tunes that they put together. And I fell in love with them. So if you like their music as much as I do, please check them out on the following: www.thekyotoconnection.com, and on Facebook, the Kyoto Connection. And that's about it, I think. So I'll kind of wrap this up and say goodbye and leave you with some music to listen to, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.